How's everybody feeling?
All right.
Yeah, that's mighty good. Now, when we begin to talk about what socialism will look like in the United States, I think it's as important to be clear about what it will not be as it is to be clear about what it will be. And the reason why that is necessary is because the very concept of socialism is so misunderstood and maligned in the American consciousness, mostly due to the distortions of the bourgeois media. Now, when we say that we wish to build a society free from systemic oppression, free from discrimination, free from poverty, hunger, homelessness, scarcity, and all other kinds of social ills, we're often accused of living in a dream world or of trying to build a utopia. That simply isn't true, because what is a utopia? It's a perfect world, right? And there are no cloudy days, no one ever scrapes their knees or get a hangnail or anything like that. Nothing inconvenient or uncomfortable ever happens. Growing up in church, we used to sing a song that said, "Every day will be Sunday, my Lord, by and by." That's not what we're advocating, right? And our party, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, we're scientific socialists, which means that our analysis is based in material conditions, the way things actually are, not fantasies and flights of fancy. And for the record, we also don't believe that if we have a socialist revolution today, like after the conference when y'all got free time, we don't believe we have a revolution today that all these issues will just disappear tomorrow. Capitalism, as we know it, has taken about 500 years to develop, so getting rid of its ravages won't be an overnight process. Throughout the conference today, we've had some in-depth commentary about the issues that abound in a capitalist society: racist police terror, gentrification, unemployment and fair wages, the systematic oppression of women, bigotry against the LGBTQ community, the U.S. government's bloody military campaigns that plunder the people, land, and resources of other countries for the benefit of a tiny elite here in America, and a host of other things. But how is it all connected? What do these seemingly disparate issues have to do with each other, and how would an American socialist government go about solving them? We must begin with the basic understanding that the aim of capitalism is to serve the needs and interests of the ruling class, the wealthy elite, by maximizing profits at all costs, including human costs. The system can only be sustained if people like us, the masses of poor and working people, go without. Socialism in America would seek to completely overturn this relationship as it is and all the issues that come with it by placing control of resources and institutions in the hands of working and poor people who can organize society in such a way that works for the benefit of the majority, the vast majority, instead of the benefit of this tiny minority who in reality contribute nothing. Under a socialist government, every person would have unrestricted access to food, clothes, shelter, healthcare, quality education, and gainful employment. Jobs would be a right, with a 30-hour week, with benefits provided by the government, including free childcare. Poverty will be eliminated by providing a living wage for all, including those who have difficulty finding or keeping a job. No one would pay more than 10% of their income on housing and could not face eviction or foreclosure. And just to localize that a little bit, I think the living wage in Washington, D.C. is about $28.25, but the minimum wage is $8.25. And I was reading an article not so long ago that pretty much defined affordable housing in Washington, D.C. The floor there is $800. So if you want to be affordable in D.C., that's pretty much what you're looking at as a base. The destruction of white supremacy will be a priority of the new socialist government, with reparations being paid to black Americans for the centuries of unpaid labor and super exploitation under enslavement, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, and other forms of institutionalized disenfranchisement. All government treaties with Native Americans will be honored, and restitution would be made for the land and resources stolen by the deposed capitalist class. Sexism, chauvinism, and the oppression of women would be another imperative issue to be eradicated under a socialist government. Guaranteeing women the same pay, benefits, and treatment as their male counterparts along with complete reproductive rights, abortion services, and access to contraception, pre- and postnatal health resources will all be priority initiatives. No form of discrimination against LGBTQ people will be tolerated under socialism, and employment, housing, marriage rights, adoption, and healthcare will be available to everyone regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. For for a multinational working class solidarity to be developed, these are the kind of things that must take place. Socialist government would use sustainable methods of developing agriculture instead of methods like Karina was talking about that drain resources and are harmful to the environment. Special efforts will be made to conserve soil and water and to remedy environmental degradation. Now, I know that such a society would be so unlike what we've come to experience here in America under capitalism that what I'm saying may almost seem absurd. You may be asking yourself if a socialist revolution in America could even be possible. And the answer is yes, emphatically yes. In fact, in this country, the early stage of building socialism would look completely different than it ever has because the vast resources and technological advancements that exist here would mean that there would immediately be a situation of abundance. There will be enough housing and doctors and food for everyone, not just in this country, but around the world. Unlike in countries that had revolutions, but were still struggling to overcome underdevelopment and the legacy of colonialism and feudalism after the old system was overturned. So for instance, we've had folks today from Cote d'Ivoire and the Congo, and once those countries reached independence, their primary task was to try to undo the ravages on their countries by the European colonial powers. Whether that was France, Britain, people in Belgium and things like that nature. And of course, because of the advancement that we have in America, we would be spared that process. Now, history shows us that empires fall and systems are overturned all the time, and that revolutions occur regularly. We've seen revolutions and efforts to build socialism over the last century in places like Russia and the Soviet Union, China, Korea, Cuba, and Vietnam, just to name a few. And we see a profound and transformative process underway today in Venezuela. All the things I mentioned today really only scratch the surface of what poor and working people can achieve under a system that's actually designed to enrich them, right? And we can only do this if we continue to build, continue to engage and struggle on all different fronts, and continue to assert the fact that true liberation cannot come from making slight adjustments to the status quo. But the changes that we seek, the society that we seek to build, and indeed the world we seek to build, can only come through revolution. Thank you.